Evaluate those issues and working closely with the racing board to understand the outcome of those issues and looking forward to a single strategy in the future.
Question number 12, Clare Curran.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Broadcasting. Does he believe that appointing the Rt Hon John Key's electorate chair, Stephen McElrea, to the Board of New Zealand On Air was appropriate?
The Honourable Craig Foss.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Yes, as I do for all current members of the New Zealand On Air Board.
Clare Curran.
Supplementary. Have the expectations placed on New Zealand On Air board members to conduct themselves in a politically neutral manner and avoid conflicts of interest been met by Mr McElrea during his time on the Board of New Zealand On Air?
The Honourable Craig Foss.
Mr Speaker, the board chair tells me he has full confidence in his members. I have full confidence in the chair and therefore the board.
Point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mellon.
Mr Speaker, it was a very straight question about a particular member and having that didn't address that.
Order. The member knows full well, having listened to the question, that asked an opinion about members' behaviour, and the Minister answered the way he saw fit. He said that the chair of the board has confidence in the behaviour of the member, and the Minister himself has confidence in the chair, and that one may not have been exactly the answer the member wanted, but that's not an unreasonable answer. Clare Curran.
It's a pathetic answer, actually.
Supplementary. Was Mr McElrea's political connection to the Prime Minister considered during the appointment process?
The Honourable Craig Foss.
Mr Speaker, the process for all board appointees follows the standard due diligence process in place for all Crown entity appointments. Vacancies on the New Zealand On Air Board are addressed using the regular process outlined by the State Services Commission and the Cabinet Guide, and has been standard since the introduction of the Crown Entities Act 2004.
Point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mellon.
I think I would just say IBID, Mr Speaker.
I think on this occasion the question did ask, was a certain matter considered? Now, the Minister is directly responsible for appointments, and it would be reasonable that the Minister may know such information. So I invite Clare Curran to repeat a question.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Was Mr McElrea's political connection to the Prime Minister considered during the appointment process?
The Honourable Craig Foss.
Mr Speaker, I'm confident that full processes were handled as for this appointment as are for all Crown entity appointments, including the gentleman in question and all other members of the New Zealand On Air Board.
Point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mellon.
Again, it was quite a direct one. It may be, sir, that you could interpret that as a yes or a no, or somewhere in between, sir, but I don't think anyone over here could tell whether or not the political connections had been considered.
Well, the honourable gentleman's been around this place darn near as long as I have, and political appointments are not new on boards, and I imagine and it would be quite normal for the standard appointments procedure to consider all those whether or not political affiliations can be compromising. And if the standard procedure was followed, then I guess that matter was considered. I mean, I can't force the Minister, unless I'm wrong there. If I'm wrong there, that the Minister had better correct me if I'm wrong, because what I'm indicating is that, yes, any political relationships would have been considered as a matter of to make sure that they would not unduly compromise the appointment. Now, if I'm wrong there, the Minister had better correct the Minister. My point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mellon.
Speaker, I just want to say thank you.
Supplementary question?
No, point of order.
Point of order, the Honourable David Park.
Sir, the problem with the answer is that we're left guessing, as you're left guessing in your interpretation of the answer from the Minister.
Order. The member will resume his seat. Now look, don't want to be too silly about this, but we all know that I could rattle off all the political appointments under the previous Labour government, and questions could be raised as to whether or not there are any compromises, and I'm sure there could be cases raised and so there's nothing new about this. The point I'm making as Speaker is standard procedures. The Minister has said the procedure followed was standard. Therefore, those matters would have been, because what the member is trying to tell me as Speaker is that under Labor such considerations were not part of the standard process. Well, if that's not the case, then the answer is reasonable. If there's a further supplementary question, point of order, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Mr Speaker, we do appreciate your explanations because, frankly, what you've said is that the Minister should have no difficulty in answering yes, but he won't answer the question. But frankly, you've told him twice that that would be normal, and therefore his answer
Order, we're not going to
should be
spend
yes.
more time on this silly point. The Minister, order. The Minister may have all sorts of reasons why he answered the question the way he did. That's his decision to answer the question the way he did. But it is perfectly obvious from the way he answered the question that all considerations, including political considerations, would have been taken into account, because that's the way it's always been. Clare Curran.
Supplementary, Mr Speaker. Has he or any other minister had any communication with Mr McElrea regarding the child poverty documentary? And if so, what was the content of those communications?
The Honourable Craig Foss.
I can't actually answer for any other ministers, but as this minister is concerned, no, I've met Mr McElrea once at a social function prior to Christmas. That's, as far as I can recall, the only communication I've had directly with him.
Supplementary question, Clare Curran.
Given Mr McElrea complained about the child poverty documentary on the 17th of November before it was screened, as admitted by the Prime Minister in media reports and as has been revealed in OIA documents, does not this action constitute political interference? And if not, why?
The Honourable Craig Foss.
Well, again, Mr Speaker, I'm confident that the processes, the workings of New Zealand On Air are adequate as pursuant to the rules, regulations and acts that they are operating under, Mr Speaker.
Point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mallett.
Well, I think we are having a repeat of previous points of order. Sir, these questions, one might have been slightly loose. That was a very precise question. And, sir, you might think that he said no. I might think he said yes. And, sir, maybe you could do what you did before and tell us what he meant?
No, order. What I should do is put the Honourable Member on the spot and ask him if he says it was a very precise question to repeat the question. Because what the question actually asked the Minister was his opinion about a certain course of action. That's what the question asked. Now, the Minister gave his opinion. And that it might have been quite the opinion members wanted, but the Minister gave his opinion about how he sees that matter. He says, the Minister's answer was that he believed that the way the board had carried on, the members of the board had carried on was quite proper in his view. Now that's what the opinion, the question sought an opinion, what the Minister thought about a certain action that had taken place, whether that represented a conflict of interest or a compromise or something, or interference, political interference. Now the Minister answered it in the way he chose to answer, and I can't ask him to answer it exactly the way the members wanted to ask, since it asked his opinion. And if it sought facts and the facts weren't given, I'd have much more opportunity to insist the Minister give the information. But it sought an opinion from the Minister. The Minister gave an opinion that was, a reasonable opinion in relation to the question asked. The Honourable Trevor Mallett.
Mr Speaker, again I want to thank you. You indicated that the Minister indicated it was quite proper. We couldn't get that from his answer.
And that brings to a close questions for oral answer.
Point of order.
I beg your pardon. Point of order, Clare Curran.
I seek leave to table an email from Stephen McElrea to the Chair of New Zealand On Air and the Chief Executive of New Zealand On Air, dated the 17th of November, which complaining about the child poverty documentary before it was screened.
Leave is sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is no objection. And that brings to a close questions for oral answer. I call on the adjourned debate on the motion for an address in reply.
Speaker,